Hi there. Today we're going to talk about order of operations. Some of you may have seen this before, some of you may have not, but I want to make sure everyone's on the same page and that everyone's feeling comfortable with solving problems using the order of operations before we move on. Whenever we're working a mathematical expression, we always want to work problems in this order. First, we're going to do any work that we have inside parentheses. Next, we will do any work that we have with exponents, and we're going to talk in more detail about exponents in just a bit. Next, we're going to look at multiplication and division. We usually just go in order. It doesn't matter the order for multiplication and division. We can do either one first. And then lastly, we have addition and subtraction. Once again, the order is not as important with those. We usually just work left to right when it comes to that. So if you don't have this and you haven't seen this before, absolutely write this down. I would encourage the rest of you to write this down as well. The way that many of you have been told to remember this is, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. That's the first letter of each of our operations here, and that's a good way of remembering it. Many of you have probably heard this before, but I learned a slightly different way, which I find very, very easy to remember, and it's, please end my day at school. If you think about that, that's going to be pretty easy to remember for quite a few of you, and it also works. Please end my day at school. So that's another way to help you remember what your order of operations are. So I wanted to talk about exponents real quick because some of you may not be quite as comfortable with that. Just wanted to make sure everyone knows what they need to know for these problems. When we have an exponent, we have what's called a base, and that's our big number here. We also have what's called a power, and that's this little number up above. And what this means is our base is the number we're multiplying together, and the power is the number of times that we have it. So for instance, if we have a base of 3 and a power of 4, that's going to be 3 times itself 4 times. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. And you can, if you're solving this out, you can either just multiply all of these together in your calculator just like that, or we have a symbol that looks like this in the calculator. It's called a caret. I don't know why it's called a caret. It has nothing to do with the thing that grows in the ground, but this is called a caret symbol. And if I grab my calculator here, you should see it right above the division sign there. That's the button that we would use if we want to put this in the calculator. So for instance, I would say 3 caret 4, and it would look something like this. That's the way we would put it in the calculator, and no matter if you put it in the calculator like this, or we actually multiply out all of the numbers, you should get the same thing, and you should get 81 as your answer. So that's how we work with exponents. We'll have some more problems that we're looking at in just a bit. Here we've got two problems where we're going to need our order of operations. If we don't follow the order of operations and we simply work to left to right, we would get an incorrect answer. So if we remember, the order is parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. So if we're looking at this first problem, we don't have any parentheses here, so we can move on to exponents. Well, we have 2 to the power of 3, and that's the same thing as 2 times 2 times 2, and if we do that in your calculator, you should get 8. So we get 8 here for this part, and we're just going to bring this 7 down. We haven't changed anything with that yet, so now we have 7 plus 8. And all we have to do is add those together, and that gives us 15. And this is our answer. With the second problem down here, we do have parentheses, so we want to work what we have inside the parentheses first. So we have 1 plus 5 inside the parentheses. We should know that's 6. So we have the 6 inside parentheses here, and we're going to bring down this 3 that's in front, along with the minus 7 back here on the end. Now, anytime we have a number right next to parentheses without anything in between them, these are actually multiplied together. So I'm going to put a tiny little multiplication symbol here. And you don't have to write that, but it may be helpful if you do. So we're going to multiply 3 times 6, which is going to give us 18. And we still have our minus 7, so we just bring that down along with. Now all we have is 18 minus 7, and if we work that out, we should get 11 for our final answer. So as long as you follow the order of operations, you should be able to get to these two answers, but if you don't follow the order of operations, if you just go left to right, you're going to end up with a different answer that's not correct.